Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Welcome back to the show. It's all about the Earth Center today. Once again, we are joined by a good friend. I'm going to call you NABA Iritah because that's what it says on your Zoom. Because you're a man of many names.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Please introduce yourself to our listeners, please.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you for having me. My name is NABA Iritah Shenmira, and I'm the executive director of the Earth Center, a nonprofit cultural organization that promotes indigenous cultures and indigenous ways of life and spirituality. And I'm right now visiting in Maryland, Baltimore, and to visit one of our schools over here. And we have many schools around America, and then two other schools in Canada and two other schools in England, where we kind of dedicate our time and ourselves to energy to teach people, to remind people, not to teach, because every man is a teacher in some ways. So to remind people of the importance of human being also attaching themselves to natural ways of doing things, attaching themselves to nature, to the principle of nature, but also to the original ways of thinking and behaving of those before us that somehow sometimes we call undeveloped or uncivilized. Yeah, I think we live in the world where we need the two civilizations together to be function hand in hand. So yes,
well, let's talk a little about Maryland. Tell me more about that school specifically. How many students are you helping? What are the age range? And tell me what's actually going on in Maryland right now, specifically for those in your program.
Yes, we have actually. I think we have what we call the generation. A generation means like a group of people, and a group of people that decide to go through the rite of passage, in a certain time, and then it doesn't matter the age, it doesn't matter the gender or anything like that, or the race. Everybody come together as a just free spirit, human being. We want to learn something. So over here we have about 4 generations, and then the fourth generation that already crossed the path of the rite of passage, and then we have like the 5th and the 6th that's still in the process of working to cross the path. And we also have a temple located over here. A temple meaning because we celebrate what we call like ancestral holidays, and we celebrate also the divine holidays. I mean, we have 2 days in a week. Our week counts really like 10 days instead of 7 days. We have like a weeks of 10 days, the decans that we follow, and then in 10 days we have 2 days where we celebrate the ancestors. One day we celebrate for the ancestors, and then another day celebration for the divinities. So every now and then we all come together here in the temple. I'm right now in the temple right now.
Okay, so was it yesterday morning was the rites of passage ceremony? I'm on the Facebook page. So yesterday was the big celebration yesterday morning or afternoon, depending on, okay, great. Yes. Wow, so how many people were involved in that? I guess you could have watched it on YouTube, youtube.com/KEBTAAH, sorry.
Kepta. Yeah, you can watch it on YouTube, Kepta YouTube.
Okay.
And, you can see everything we do. And it's a very very important moment where like different people, different soul, different background, different race, different age, we all come together as one spirit to just kind of invoke the powers that we really trying to listen to us. So it's a very powerful event. Every 10 days we do it. It's a very powerful event.
So it's every 10 days. Wow. Okay, I'm on the website as well, the YouTube page. Beautiful. Wow. So there's a lot to you and what you're doing. Now, this Facebook page is specifically for Maryland, the one I'm on. Do they each have their own?
Yes.
They do.
School,
okay.
No, we have it, it's global, but every school will have their own celebration. It's global. It's global. So we use the same calendar. So every school, every temple will have the same celebration every day.
Wow.
Every time that they arrive, we all come together to do the celebration, even all the way to Africa.
Wow. Could you tell me about the 421 or 421 calendar? What is that? And tell me about chematic symbols. I'm not familiar, and
Thank you.
I'm curious because now that I'm on your page, I'm looking. But what is that exactly? I may be saying it
Well,
wrong. I apologize, but
no, it's good. Actually, this is gonna get me to really now talk because well, we have for thousands of years ago, our ancestors, let's say human ancestors followed a different calendar. Before the
yep.
Julian calendar,
Mm-hmm.
before the Gregorian calendar,
Mm-hmm.
human ancestry follow like a calendar that's actually the one that we consider to be the most rigid and then exact astronomically, then
Okay.
also spiritually. A calendar that affects you and I, our life. It's not a calendar that's set for when to go work and when not to go work and what to do and what not to do. So it's a calendar that's based on the star system
Mm-hmm.
that we call the Sirius star, located in the constellation of Orion. So for those who are familiar with the Sirius star, that's the brightest star in the sky, in the night. When we look in the sky in the night, that's the brightest star that changes color. So the calendar we following, human ancestry follow at the beginning before
Okay.
modern
Before.
civilization took over,
Mm-hmm.
the lead of humanity. That calendar was actually something that's based on that star, and then it's a calendar of 13 months, 13 months with a 12 month of 30 days, and then every month dividing in 10 days. So
Wow.
meaning in every month we have like 3 weeks, which are really like 10 days a week, 10 days a week. And then the last month, which is considered the 13th month, is a month that has like 5 days, and we
Okay.
call the 5 days the birth of the days where the gods were born, meaning like the days that some divinities dedicated their life to serve in a human being life. So every time we have a phenomenon that happens every 4 years. Every 4 years, what we call the leap year is actually a phenomenon that happens in the in the cosmos, among the celestial bodies, meaning the sun, the moon, the star series, the earth, and many other celestial bodies will have to be forced to realign for every 4 years.
Okay.
Why? Because every 4 years, every year that the sun, goes on its rotation and on its revolution, the earth kind of, gets to decline by 15 degrees. And then on the fourth year of its movement and rotational revolution, it has to come back to the normal position. And that's what creates like the leap year, where the earth has to catch up with the rest of the celestial bodies for the degrees that it has been losing. So to just make it short, we are in the 421 year now, because that cycle, the star series, its cycle is a big cycle, a cycle that is 1,461 years. It takes that star to make that round to come back to the same point. Because what do we call a cycle? A cycle is when something leaves one point at a certain time and come back to that same point around that time. That's what we call a cycle. So then that's the only one that does that. So otherwise, ancestors, they try to really follow the sun, like the way the calendar that we follow in the modern days, following the sun or the moon. Those calendars, the sun does not have a perfect cycle. And then the moon does not have a perfect cycle. Winter doesn't come every time the same, every time the same day, the same dates. Just like, Christmas does not always come in when it's snowing or anything like that. So there's a lot of changes that, the Gregorian calendar came and implemented that kind of, come to just, channel our lives to just be like workers. And then what we do, we just have like a timetable.
Yeah.
It's a calendar. It's almost like a timetable, because our understanding of calendar is something that's supposed to orient you towards your own evolution and then towards your own harmonization with everything that exists within the existence.
Right. Well, thank you for sharing that. I'm glad that popped up. That's interesting. My goodness. But there's so much to you, to the organization. And let me ask you in particular, what else do you want to share today? I mean, we've had some great discussions about all the work you do, all the people you're helping, but there's so much more still. Clearly, like, look at today. What else? Come on, tap into that brain. How could, I know you also need help. You need donations as well. The earthcenter.org is the website if they want to reach out to you, because it's a nonprofit. It's totally funded. So amazing. Thank you for the sponsors and donors out there who make this possible. And you can contact NABA directly if you'd like to make a donation and help. So what else do you want to share about the Earth Center? I mean, my goodness, you're teaching me more and more.
We are, the winter is coming, and thank you again for, reminder about our studies. We really depend on, on donation. That's really what help us moving. And again, I second that. Thank you to all of those, who are doing it. We come to the, we enter winter, and then every winter, the Earth Center, we organize a pilgrimage. We call it pilgrimage just to allow people to travel with the Earth Center to the indigenous cultures, villages and all of that, to experience, natural life, experience a culture, experience different way that people do things and all of that. And that pilgrimage is starting on December 14, where we are inviting people. It doesn't matter whether you are a member of the Earth Center, active member, ally member, and initiate. It doesn't matter. Anyone who wants to really, get away from, the winter, to just go to, experience some, culture, new food, new people, new languages, new challenges to face, and all of that, to kind of experience something different. Those people are also welcome to contact us at travel@theearthcenter.org. Travel@theearthcenter.org, so we can send them information. And if they feel like they are really they've been called to come with us, we will be so happy to be their host, and then take good care of them while we are there, and then let them experience something that they never really experienced, something that the part of Africa that's been hiding from people, the part of Africa that no one wants to talk about. They're more so talking only about we're not saying like Africa is just always sitting there in need. Africa has like beautiful things, Acorn is doing the same work, asking people to travel and all of that. So Africa has like this beautiful, aspect that people need to discover. That's not here. That's not like in the, in America. That's not in Europe, So we cannot find everything in the same place, in one place. One thing will be somewhere and another thing will be somewhere else. So we inviting people to really go to travel@theearthcenter.org, and then ask for informations, and if they feel like their spirit is being called, we welcome them, and everything will be magnificent for them.
Oh, great. And let me just ask you specifically. So here in the US, how do the Earth Centers different? It's all the same curriculum. Also, everyone, whether you're in Canada, you're in Africa, everyone's learning the same principles of the foundation. And you've been the past few weeks. You've been, gosh, were you in Houston? You were in Chicago. I mean, how many locations in the US?
We have 5 locations in the US.
Okay.
So, I was in Newark, New Jersey. Baltimore, here in Maryland. I was in Houston, Texas, and then Chicago, Illinois. Then we went to San Diego, California. And then at some point, we stopped in San Francisco, California, because we have some interest. People expressed the interest to bring the center over there, temple over there. So we stopped there, and then we did the work. We did whatever needs to be done. So we just waiting for things to marinate, and then at the end of the trip that we are going for now, we come back, and then we'll go and then start everything over there in San Francisco.
And did you get to visit your family? Is your family in, did you say Pennsylvania, New Jersey? Where was it?
They were in Pennsylvania. I spent the whole weekend from Thursday to yesterday. I was with them in Pennsylvania, and then it was good. It was good. Yeah, 2 girls and a boy. It was good. it was good to have that moment with them. And, you know, it's kind of, that's what kind of, you know, charge you whenever you feel like you're getting tired, you know, you have to do that, and then it kind of recharge you to
It
continue
does. Yeah, I have a 4 and 6-year-old, and I'm with them
Wow.
full time, and I live alone. So it's hard, and you juggle work, you juggle them, but the biggest blessings on earth, right? Like you said, you got to
Yeah.
start teaching them the right principles, the right everything, to teach them that integrity and what it means to be a good human being, you know? And I believe in that. Whatever teaching you believing, whatever, it's all the same.
It's all the same.
But it's better to know and to appreciate everyone else's aspect and perspective, because a lot of people are just so narrow-minded. So it's sad that some people are raised that way, but to be, you know, to bring back where we came from, what we all are, to learn about this. Like, there's so much to you I don't know, and I want to learn. So give me a little teaching. Tell me what else is happening in the center. You taught me about the calendar. You taught me what else is beneficial for our listeners. You know, anyone out there?
Yeah, what is beneficial for our listener that maybe I can just drop over here is the concept of the existential questions, because, you know, there are these great existential questions that, you know, human being, we have to keep asking ourselves every day. I know, you know, we have life over there that's playing us. We have, you know, politics that's playing. We have, like, you know, everything else, you know, that's playing. Everything has the right to exist. You know, everything has the right to manifest itself, because that's the beauty of the, you know, of the manifestation, or, you know, of life. But, you know, the great questions still remain there. You know, where are we coming from? Why are we here? And where are we going? You know, and those questions, looks like nowadays, those questions have become like a taboo. You know, no one wants to really, you know, adventure, you know, trying to really understand those questions. And then if you decide to do that, they call you a new age guy, new age person, you know, or hippie or whatever. But, you know, these are simple questions to ask. You know, we have, you know, we get to have everything. We have our supermarket, we have the heat when it's cold, we have, you know, the AC when it's hot, and all of those kind of, we get to have our train or our bus or our car to take us wherever we need to go. But at the end of the day, the question remain, like, where are we coming from? What for? And where are we going? So over there, this is where the Earth Center, in our teachings, we come to, you know, teach and tell people, you know, we are just in the middle. You know, given a chance to be alive, allow us to just be like in the middle, meaning like to be those that have to continue what those before us started, and then do it right with the most integrity, you know, possible that we might have and most knowledgeable, you know, things that we might have, ability we might have, do it right. And once it's right done, you know, the children, the descendant, we were just talking about the children, we look at them, we want them to face a life, to face challenges that are less than those that we face. And how to do that, it takes for us who are like in the middle to be the one to really work hard on learning the concept of sacrificing certain things for the past, sacrificing certain things in the present for the future. And once you say you love something, that means you're ready to sacrifice anything for it.
Wow.
You're ready to sacrifice anything for it. And then when I say I love my children, I'm ready to sacrifice anything for them. When I say I love, you know, your children, that means I'm ready to sacrifice something, you know, for them. And then children are just children, you know, they're just beautiful. There's no way you'll be like, you don't love children. You're going to have to be like evil to say you don't love children.
I know. They're so innocently cute.
Innocent, you know. So this is really like one of the things that we, when people come to the organization, we kind of emphasize on that. They emphasize on the future of our humanity, you know. And then the teachings, you know, the curriculum that we have that we teach is so big. It's so big to the point where, like, we take the initiate from their life all the way to how they were born, all the way to how they were conceived, all the way to how their reincarnation, they consider themselves to be, you know, to accept like, okay, I'm coming back again on this planet. Even with all of the pain, all of the challenges we go through, we still want to come back to this planet and over. So why do we keep doing that? Why do we keep coming back? So we take the student, we take the student back to all of those realities. And then, the self-perfection.
Yeah.
Right? The self-perfection.
Yeah. It's all part of life and who we are. But that's amazing you say that. So we want to keep coming back. Yeah.
Yep, we want to.
I'm just curious. I mean, with your experience, what is your belief system on that when we come back? How long does it take to come back and to reincarnate? Is there like a certain principle you believe in, a certain amount of time? Is there work that has to be done once we pass and cross? How does that work?
Yeah, when a human being transition.
That's the word I was looking for. Okay.
Yes, it's just a transition, right? So when a human being transition from this life to the invisible life, we call it just a transition, meaning you just have like a dead relative, someone who just left the physical reality to go to the non-material. And does that mean that the person, because we don't see the non-material, we don't feel it, does that mean that the person is no more around us? They're still around, they're still part of the family.
Okay.
Part of our life, because somehow they play a role in our life. They play the role in our life. And then if it's like your father, yeah, they gave you blood. The blood that you have in your vein is your blood. The beautiful eyes that you have, that's their beautiful eyes. You don't own that. It's coming from them. Anything else we can consider that we own, I would say that's mine, and then it's not coming from my mother, it's not coming from my father. It's maybe the shirt that I'm wearing or the that I'm wearing. At the end of the day, everything about me is from them. So what do we do? When you transition, there's some ceremonies that have to be happening. Like we have the concept of the duat, meaning 3 days after the transition, the last breath of the human being, the spirit needs help. Be reminded that it doesn't belong to the physical world. And then 7 days, it needs to also be reminded. 40th day, it needs to be reminded. Actually, the 40th day is when we call the restau, where the concept of restaurant is coming from.
I don't know.
Restau. Yeah.
The rest.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's where the concept of rest is coming from.
I've never, you got me. I'm going to Google that now. I never knew that. Restaurant. I think while you're going out you are resting, you're relaxing, you're winding down.
Yeah, because after 40th day of someone transition, they get to be at the stage in the non-material world that's called the restau. That's the place where we're supposed to offer them drinks, we're supposed to offer them milk, we're supposed to offer them wine, we're supposed to offer them bread, food, fruits, anything, cakes, we're supposed to offer them that day, the 40th after the transition. That's why it's called restaurant. That's why when you travel, you stop at a restaurant to eat, to get your refreshment and everything before you continue your journey. So it takes 7 generations for a spirit that transition to come back.
Got it. Wow.
And if you and I one day we comes to go, we're gonna have to count like our children to have children, to have children, to have children, to have children before you and I can have to open the gate and then come back again. And then why do we come back? We just come back to protect ourselves, Our spirit, human nature, human essence, the concept of paradise or heaven does not make sense to human essence. Human spirit does not like immobility. Human spirit like moving a lot, like being. So we would be so tired sitting in the heaven for the rest of the time. Even if we did good and God sent us to heaven, it would be so difficult for us to, face, ourselves over there, because the spirit is still want to experience many other things. So that's really like our belief system.
But do you know how many times you've been reincarnated? Do you feel it? Do you sense it? Can you sense that from yourself? Like how many times have you been here?
Yeah, I think I cannot count how many times I've been here, which means I'm sorry, because that means I've been trying my best to perfect myself, and then it hasn't. And then and that perfection is really the goal. The perfect model to become that perfect being is really the goal. And when you become that perfect being, at some point you are called what? You are called a prophet, or you are called a Messiah, or you are called, enlightener or guide, or things like that. So it's been many, many, many reincarnations. The last reincarnation that my culture would tell me that, I was around here was my father's 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 father.
Wow.
So that's like a long time ago, maybe around the time Civil War was happening around here.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Arriving here, something like that.
Wow. All right. Well, we have just 2 minutes left in the show. What else do you want to share about the Earth Center before we have to go? But again, another great conversation, learning something new every week with you.
Thank you very much, dear. And I want to thank all of the listeners. And, as I said, we have our, trip coming, the pilgrimage. We call it the pilgrimage because anytime you travel to discover, you travel to learn, it's a pilgrimage. So, I want, our listener to go to our website or to send an email to travel at theearthcenter.org, or to go to the website www.theearthcenter.org, or call the 773-359-4160 and then ask, and they are welcome. I want to welcome everybody to come and see the other side of Africa that they don't get to see. Come experience it yourself.
Right.
Come experience the other side of Africa yourself,
And where exactly are you in Africa? Where's the Earth Center located in Africa?
We are in Ghana. We have a representation Ghana. We have representation Benin. We have representation Burkina Faso. We have representation Togo.
Wow. So 4 different locations?
4 different countries.
I've never been to your country. I would love to come and check it out and see what you're doing. Seriously. It's fun. My son is 4 and he just started watching a Netflix episode, something called Penguin Town.
Yeah.
And it's in Africa, he said. Is that true?
Yes.
Where's Penguin Town? Is it close to any of your centers?
No, that's around east.
Okay, because he's 4. He's like, Mom, can we go here? I'm like, where is it? He's like, Africa. Wow. I'm like, that's a big trip to go see some penguins. And then I'm like, Mommy has a friend in Africa. I said, I'll ask him. Yeah. It's
good. I mean, that's what I'm saying. You have to, Beyonce even traveling to Africa. Everybody's traveling to see that part of Africa now.
But no one's seeing the real parts. Like, for example, Jamaica, my girlfriend's from Jamaica, and everyone goes to, the vacation to Montego Bay and the island, the beautiful water. We went to Kingston. She's from Kingston. So we spent 5 days. This is maybe like 6 years ago before I had kids. We went to Kingston. We had so much fun. And that was it. Everyone's like, oh my God, how was the beach? I'm like, we didn't go to the beach. We went to the rooftop pool. We went to Costco. We barbecued. We went to people's houses. We got to see what the culture was really like. And it was awesome.
You get to do for real people.
Yeah,
for real people.
I agree. Not same thing in Greece. I went to Greece for the first time this summer with my kids, only because my friend has a house there and he has kids, and I took my 2 kids, went there, but we didn't go to Mykonos, Santorini. I never been to those places, and we were in Varkiza, small town in Athens. We drove across the country to these little places, little islands. No one's ever heard of Zakynthos. Like we didn't go to like a big island, but it was amazing.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I got goosebumps. I prefer it. So maybe we'll come visit you one day, but I might have to stop in Penguin Town. I don't even know the real town. What is it called? Where Penguin Town is?
Penguin Town? That would be like around Kenya and around Kenya, Zanzibar, and all.
I don't know. I got to Google, but all right, we'll be in touch. Iritah, thank you so much. TheEarthCenter.org. You have a great day. Another great conversation. Thank you so much. And everyone else, stay tuned. More of the show is on the way. Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, I mean, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home.
that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.